Alright everyone, welcome back to another video. Last time, we left off with this cool chart here that I thought was nice to see. We're now on to the Germans train their big guns on a canal convoy. April 22nd, 1940. German shells fail to damage British shipping. In early August, German high-velocity guns were massed along the French coast, from Calais to Boulogne, which would serve to... Hold on 1 second. Sorry, Mayhem. Every time I'm recording a video, Mayhem has to come sit on my lap. So, you know. Which would serve to cover troop transports in an attempt at invading Britain. On the 22nd, these guns were brought into action for the first time against a convoy in the canal, firing a shell a minute for more than an hour as ships passed through the Narrows and missing every time. No German dive bombers simultaneously attacking the convoy and its escort from above were equally unsuccessful, for the skillful seamanship of the British vessels combined with the accurate fire of the escorting warships made close approach too hazardous. As the salvos from the German batteries fell harmlessly above, British destroyers laid smoke screens and dropped smoke floats. So here we see at the top, one up here. And the bottom one, there's their smoke screens. Obviously, they would drop these to help hide their position, kind of, and things like that. Yeah, the Germans didn't have, like, the most effective raiding against the Allies here. There were some attempts, but nothing that would actually cripple the British Navy, per se. Which, you know, Britain, the one thing that saved them through most of their history is the sea and their Navy. So, if you can't effectively get rid of their Navy, then you're not going to get effectively at the people. German guns fire across English Channel. August 22nd, 1940. Dover shelled. The cross-channel guns followed up their attack on canal shipping by bombarding the coast in the neighborhood of Dover for about 3/4 of an hour as the evening of August 22nd, damaging some buildings, including a church interior shown above and causing several casualties. Yeah, obviously the Germans had much more, and the Allies did this too. They're not probably going to talk about it very much here, but the Allies did attack many civilian places. But yeah, the Germans attacked the civilians because, you know, if you get at the civilians, you get at the war effort. You know, if the civilians don't want to keep going with the war will end. This happened with an example would be the American Revolution. The public unrest with the war in the colonies got so bad that they just kind of were like, okay, you know, we don't care about these colonies. Just let them go. Whatever. If that's what they want, let them go. So that's when it ends up happening. And here, the Germans have a very similar mindset, which is like, if we can get at the people, then the war is over for them. A shell from France tears up a street in Dover. April 22nd, 1940. Long-range shelling. Members of Dover's Civil Defense Services examining a shell crater in the road close to a church after German long-range guns had spoken from France on August 22nd. The force of the explosion can be judged by the damage caused to the front of the house to the right of the picture. So here we see this town here, and here they see, you know, they're looking at it, and you could tell by the damage to the house, the damage that it would cause. You know, this would be pretty devastating. And to think that we're finding these all the way from France, that's kind of crazy. Obviously, France is not, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that far. I think it's at its closest point about 20 or 22 miles, I think. So it's not very far. It's relatively close, but still, I know, it's weird to think. Well, let me just make sure. Yep. Okay, sometimes these pages stick, so I'm just making sure. London unmoved by Goering's battalions. August 1940. No German bombs fail to worry London. If the purpose of mass raiding was to undermine the Londoners' morale, it was a ludicrous failure. Munitions factories carried on work as bombs fell near them, and in many cases, repair work on damaged buildings began within an hour or two of the passing of the German planes. In public shelters, men and women played cards or sang, while many thousands turning over in bed with a word of annoyance as the sirens sounded from another all-night raid, settled to sleep again, undisturbed by the anti-aircraft fire, until the raiders' pass signal woke them once more. Above, nuns arrive at a scarred railway station in a bombed suburb to help in rescue work after a raid. Below, the interior of a suburban film house, after it had received a direct hit from a German bomber. So here we see those nuns coming to help the railway. Now this must have been really odd, because, most people, they'd been like, they would see a nun coming to help, and they'd been like, well, sister, what are you doing here? But obviously this is everyone's in to help in the war effort. So even these nuns were going to do their part. And then there we see that film studio. And the ceiling's caved in. Good part of the wall is destroyed. Just the destruction is crazy. And the British, spirit is always a goofy one, where they're just like, they turn over in annoyance as the sirens, like, oh, these darn annoyances, basically. They don't see them as the scary thing that they are. They're just more like annoyed, like, you sons of guns. The end of a Messerschmitt. August 1940. No German fighters' last fight. The RAF in the anti-aircraft defense rejoiced in the opportunity given by the August raids to decimate Goering's invincible Luftwaffe, and in 10 days accounted for 711 German planes. See table on page 239, which was in the last video. So, not bothering to count the probably even greater number so badly mauled it was unlikely that they could have returned to their bases. The picture above shows one of the many German fighters brought down by hurricanes and Spitfires burning itself out in a field in southeast London. Or England. Southeast England, not southeast London. Southeast England. And yeah, that thing has been absolutely decimated. It's just a burning wreck now. And there was, like I said, 711. How true that number is, who's to say? But still, even if the number's close to that, that's a lot of planes just obliterated. And I don't know how Goering would have sold this to the Fuhrer. Like, he must have felt a little hot under his collar there. Oh, it's a twofer. No German bombers penetrate London's defenses. August 25th, 1940. Air war reaches the capital. On August 16th, London was first bombed by German raiders who hit several buildings in the southwest suburbs, including churches, a hospital, and a railway station, and opened machine gun fire on people in the streets. London's anti-aircraft guns first came into action on August 18th, when delayed action bombs were dropped in the suburbs. It was not until the 25th, however, that the raiders successfully succeeded in penetrating the outer defenses and reaching the city. That portion of London north of the Thames within the ancient boundaries. In the picture above, flames from a bombed building in the city illuminate the night sky behind the domed St. Paul's Cathedral, which is right there. Actually, the Croydon airport was the military objective, though the Nono Germans had given orders to bomb the city if necessary. And yeah, obviously, if necessary, because, well, if they thought, hey, you're not going to make it, well, then it's necessary to drop your bomb, so it's easier to get away. So they drop them in the city when it's one of those unspoken, oh, don't do it, but you kind of should do it to help us out. All right, well, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. Tell me what I can improve on. And as always, subscribe. It really does help. Thank you.